Okay, we're going to make our queen, which is our last piece. The queen is this sphere on top of a cube. Our sphere is going to be 20 millimeters by 20 millimeters by 20 millimeters. Our cube is going to be 30 millimeters by 30 millimeters by 30 millimeters. And it's pretty easy to make, but I did a little customization. I pre-made these pieces so you can see them. This is the 30 by 30 by 30, and there is a 4 millimeter cylinder hole in the middle here, and then a 3 millimeter cylinder here used as a stud. Now this hole is just a registration hole. This isn't going to like force fit the pieces together. We're going to glue them together, so it's okay that there's 1 millimeter of kind of slop in between. Like there's going to be 1 millimeter of air gap, kind of, that this will be around this hole once we put the stud inside. That's okay. This is just a registration hole, so it's just going to help us figure out what the middle is. Also, if you print two pieces that are, if this hole is exactly 3 millimeters and this one's exactly 3 millimeters, sometimes it's quite hard to fit them together. So I'm going to give ourselves 1 millimeter gap. All right. Let's go ahead and make these pieces. And I'm going to go into top view here. And remove this ruler. And get started. So the first thing we need to do is make our hole. And we're going to make it again 30 by 30 by 30. And then we're going to make a sphere. And fortunately, our sphere is already going to be 20 by 20 by 20, so nothing to do there, which is great. Now what we need to make is our cylinder. And I'm going to go into front view for this. And I'll explain why in just a second. Oops. Did it a little fast. Let me delete that. Okay. I drag our cylinder in. Now our default cylinder is way too big. So let's go ahead and change the dimensions on that. We're going to make it 4 by 4. And then our last one, 4. Okay. And let's go into front view. And what's nice about front view, right? We need to get this cylinder up and over. So I want to make sure it's in the top. And also lined in there. Centered. It's not centered, is it? Nope, it sure is not. Let's go ahead and make ourselves a ruler. And we can see here we've got 14 plus 2 to the middle would be 15, 16. And that is 1 too high. So we're going to go down 1. 13 plus 2 is 15. Notice this is 4, so half of 4 is 2, which is our middle point here. So think of this as 13 plus 2. And that's 15. And again, this is a 30 millimeter cube across, so we want to get to 15, right, to be our middle point. So that's great. And then we have 13 here, plus again 2. Again, this is 4 wide, but we want to go just to the middle point. So 13 plus 2 is 15. So we know we're at dead center. That's great. So we're done there. We're going to before we do that, now what we're going to do is make this a hole. And then we're going to group these together, and we have our shape. Now what we want to do is make another cylinder, and I'm going to go back into front view. We're going to drag a cylinder in, and this cylinder we're going to make 3, and then we're going to make, so we have a little work to do here. So this is 4 millimeters deep, so let's make it 3 sticking out. That'll give us 1 millimeter of clearance, so it doesn't hit the bottom of our hole and get blocked. And but we're gonna stick X number of millimeters into the cube, just so when we group them, they'll be completely merged in. And we're gonna give ourselves 3 more of that. So let's make this 6 high. And it's way off our work piece. Let's come back, come back. Okay. So we only changed one of our sides, right? So that's wacky. So let's make this 3. So now it's actually a cylinder shape again and not oblong. And like I said, we want 3 sticking out and 3 sticking into the sphere. So we're going to make it 6. Now let's go back to front view. Cool. We want to raise this up and over. And we want to go up enough that 3 is sticking out. So let's see how we did. Let's go back to top view. We are not centered, but we're darn close. Let's see. Let's give ourselves a ruler. Here. And so again, it's 20. So we want 8 plus 2. Oh, it's 3, so it's 1.5. Haha. So let's do 8, 9.5, 1, 8.5, right? 1.5, 8.5, 8, 9, 10. Cool. So 1.5 plus 8.5 is 10. So we're good. We're good there. And let's see what we've got here. 8 plus, we want this to be 8.5, right? And plus 1.5, that's going to be 10. So we know we're centered there. Sorry, that was a little confusing. Just to recap, I had to adjust this number by hand because if you use the arrow, it's always going to move you 1 millimeter. And we want a 0.5 millimeter over in order to find center because we have a 3 millimeter wide cylinder placed on a 20 millimeter wide sphere. So we need to offset by 0.5 millimeter. Okay. We are good to go there. Let me double check. Let's go to front view. And yeah, that looks good. So let's go ahead and group that. And we are ready. I think this one is sticking out 1 more millimeter than that one, but it should be okay. And we're going to go ahead and export these as STLs and print them up. Okay, this is just using the export feature in Tinkercad, selecting STL, saving the file. Just a reminder that it names the file, it names the exported file as the file name in Tinkercad, which is a little annoying. It would be nice if it gave you an opportunity to name it, but here we go. You can hear my dog in the background. He's frustrated that his ball has been lost. Okay, so now we're exporting the queen's head, the round sphere with the little stud sticking out of the top. And just dragging them over to where my other files are so I can drop them in Bambu Labs. Okay, I'm dragging just the queen's head in. That's the sphere. Notice it has the stud on the top. I'm going to use the auto orient feature to flip it over. It's going to put the little stud on the bottom, which seems a little counterintuitive at first, but it actually is easier to print that way. Now that I ran slice, you see it's going to make this little skirt on the bottom. That's going to help adhere the piece to the print so it doesn't tip over or come unglued or undone from the plate. This is a little more secure. Right now, do you see that white line? That is the seam line, and that's because all the seams are aligned. If you do random, it will change the seam location for every pass, and that's actually there's an easier way to sand that so it doesn't get all out of whack, but we'll stick with a line for now so you can see what it looks like. You'll see this slight seam probably appear when we print it. The next thing I'm going to do is go through variable layer height. Variable layer height is really good for spheres. It creates a sort of tighter print line at the top where you really need it, where that curve is really extreme. And you can see that here displayed. Auto settings are usually pretty good. It might be a little lumpy at the bottom. We'll see how it goes. And we went ahead and ran the slice. Okay, we've got our print of our queen body, and we've got our 4mm hole. Losing focus. Our 4mm hole here, which our 3mm pin from the head is going to fit in here. Pop it off. And we've got a quite good print. Let's see if I can get it in focus. There we go. Yeah, this is a good print. That's our 4mm hole. The head will go onto that hole. And let's try printing out the head. Looks good.